Alright, so it's been a year since I've been filming with the Sony 6400. The question is this camera still any good? So first and foremost, if you're a new subscriber to this channel, thank you for taking the time out of your day to check out my channel. So first and foremost, there is literally cameras out there that aren't going to benefit you and that are going to benefit you. There's some cameras out there that you're interested in buying, but there's something about these cameras that are going to have some drawback where you do not want to purchase these cameras, or some of these cameras will gravitate you to wanting to buy them more. So you have to keep this in mind also with the equation of your budget to really decide which camera fits you the best. So there's like some nearly perfect cameras out there, but best believe you're gonna pay top dollar for it. But if you're kind of on a budget and want to only spend close to $1,000 just for the body of a camera, literally the Sony 6400 is your go-to. So I've been filming a ton of content with this. Keep in mind, I'm a videographer. I haven't really taken many photos with this APS-C mirrorless camera, and pretty much what that means is you're missing out on 2.5 times your surface area compared to a full frame camera. For a videographer, this isn't really too much of a drawback. With a full frame camera, you can have less objects that are actually in focus for your video shots. This can be a great carryover to some really cool shots you can get when filming on your full frame. But I've also been filming with this camera for a full year, and just about every week or so, creating different projects for clients and different types of businesses. And let me tell you, for right at $1,000, this camera is cash money. There's been some slight drawbacks, of course, because like I said, there's literally no perfect camera, but tailored to me, this camera is literally a game changer. The big headline of the Sony 6400, which is of course no IBS, so no in-body stabilization. But since I've been working with this camera for a year now, I've had like some workarounds to that. So I have a lot of prime lenses that have steady shot inside of them, but it's still not as smooth as any in-body stabilization. And having full control of your camera, not filming with one hand and going all crazy, making sure you grip it nice and steady and do like the little rocking motions or the pulling and pushing motions with your camera, and making sure it's as sturdy as possible. Plus doing like some post editing effects, such as putting like a slow motion on there and then nesting it and then adding like warp stabilizer. You can really get some smooth footage out of this camera even though it doesn't have in-body stabilization. And then there's also the main fix, which you can use a gimbal and put this camera on top of the gimbal, which I do have, and the in-body stabilization is literally means nothing after that once you put this on the side of a gimbal. But like I said, there's some workarounds to that, which no in-body stabilization is kind of like, meh, I'm paying like $1,000 for this camera. I don't expect too much. As long as I can get that full HD 120 frames per second, which gets you that smooth and buttery slow motion. That was all I needed, because me as a videographer, I'm a slow motion guy. I literally use it on every single project, and it just grabs like that deep emotion within your footage with each type of like project you're doing. And yeah, and it has 4K at 30 frames per second, which is crucial to doing like interviews with getting like the highest amount of quality as much as possible, or doing like sit down videos like this. Or if you do not plan on scaling your speed duration at all, 4K is definitely solid, but that depends on what type of computer you have to be able to handle 4K. But $1,000, 1080p, 120 frames per second, 4K, 30 frames per second, that's all you need to tell me, and I was gonna buy it. Another benefit to this camera is that it has the flip up selfie screen, which is crucial to all of our vloggers out there for just a YouTube channel, just stromming around down the street, recording yourself. But there's a drawback to that. Where you're most likely connect a mic to, it will be right in front of the selfie screen here, which you can kind of see if you mount up like a small little mic of some sort. But to get the best out of this camera so that isn't interfering with the top front of your selfie screen, what you need to do is get like a little J hook with a mount and put like some threads underneath, and then just mount to mount the mic to the side, which kind of looks weird. All the other cameras they released before this, well, most of them that did, there was like a 30-minute video recording limit. So what Sony did with the Sony 6400, they literally bypassed that 30-minute limit. Like I said earlier, this can benefit other people more than it can do others. If you record like 2-minute clips at a time, then this doesn't really mean much to you, as opposed to like our guys out there to shoot like interviews and stuff like that. Also, a huge game changer with this camera is that the autofocus is so buttery that you can literally spread it on 2 slices of bread and eat it on a salmon. So the so the autofocus is literally crispy. Is literally like one of the best autofocuses I've like ever seen. It's almost just as good as the Sony a7 III's, which is a full frame camera that costs just about $1,000 more. So I also like the feature that they put into this camera, and it is the eye autofocus. So like a green little box tracks your eyes, and it can also do face detection, so it can recognize your face each time you film with this camera. It's like a green little box that covers your eyes and literally stays locked onto your eyes when recording your subject. And also, yes, it's not just about humans. This does the exact same thing for animals out there. If you're recording your dog or pet or whatever you're trying to record for video footage, there was a firmware update that came out sometime last year, and I just thought that was like just insane coming for a camera that is right at $1,000. So if it fails to pick up that little green box around the eyes, it will immediately go into face detection, which still keeps whatever subject you're filming's face, whether it's a pet or a human, in focus. And I just thought that was just insane. Once it locks onto something and it's centered, or if you put in a certain zone that you want to put it into, it literally stays locked on there almost perfectly. So I was filming my dog in her cage, and I was able to lock on to her inside of her cage, and even though the little bars from the cage were passing from the screen, since I was locked on to her eyes, I was able to still record her pushing through the cage. And what more could you ask for? There's also some little extra features they added, such as interval shooting. So if you're a fan of time lapses and hyperlapses, all you need to do is go inside of there and set your certain seconds and do like a time lapse inside of this bad boy. So no more getting that adapter that automatically takes pictures for you. I used to have one of those. So it has an internal shooting feature that you can also do. And there's also a couple cool other features, such as the smile feature. So if you want to take like a family photo of some sort, if you want to take like some selfies without hitting the shutter, all you need to do is smile, and you can scale it to how big of a smile you want to, and it will automatically take the picture for you. Hold on, let me attach the lens to this bad boy. So also for my photographers out there, you do have the capability of doing JPEG and RAW, which is literally the staple in all the cameras they're releasing in today's day and age. And also it has like S-Log capabilities and also Cine 4. So you can kind of do like some picture profile personalization, so you can really scale back the color that it captures inside of your camera, and then really be able to go full throttle when it comes to editing inside of Lightroom and Photoshop when color grading your photos and also your videos. They couldn't make this camera as perfect as possible. So it does not come with a charger. It comes with a micro USB cable that you have to grab a back for, then to plug it into the camera to charge the battery while it's inside of the camera. There's like some portable chargers that you can buy for your battery to charge it that way, but the fact that it doesn't come with a charger is kind of like but so there was nothing for me to go ahead and purchase that, since it was like right at $1,000. So there wasn't too much of a bad drawback for me. Coming from a Sony guy, it's kind of what's expected, but you know, if they did add it, it would be like one of those extra pluses when buying this camera. I also really like that it is super small. Like, if you don't attach a lens to this bad boy, it is literally the width and size of pretty much your standard wallet, if you have probably like a lot of credit cards and a lot of cash in there and whatnot. But But that goes without saying that this camera is not that big at all. It is literally identical in size and look to all of the 6000 series for our Sony Alphas out there. But a 6400 just released last year, like right around the March time frame. So I had it for a little over a year now. And I literally love this camera. I love it so much that I kept it as a backup camera because I did not want to let it go. And it's also a very good grab and go camera to have. So that's my hot take over the Sony 6400. If I helped you out in any shape or fashion, what if I drew you back from buying this camera? What if I gravitate you forward to go ahead and make the purchase with this camera? I did my job. You know, this is opinion based, my experience with it personally. This isn't a super techie review. This is, hey, a year later, my experiences with this camera. But hopefully I helped you guys out. For future videos out there, if you want me to cover something inside Premiere Pro, leave them down in the comment section down below, and I'll be happy to cover them. I am going to send you guys on your way, and hopefully I helped you out. Thank you for sticking around to this channel. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up if you liked what you saw, and leave a comment down below in the comment section if you want to send some hate mail and whatnot to say what I could do to make this video better. But anyway, enough of all that. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.